Welcome to Southern Jukebox, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, John Wilson, along with my co-host, Mr. Todd Arrington and Ed Marconi. What's up, guys?
Not much.
John, thank you for having us.
Yes, it's always a pleasure.
It's so nice to have friends. I don't have many.
You doing all right, Todd?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm glad we're at a far distance away from each other because I haven't brushed my teeth since yesterday morning.
Now that's something.
A lot of new music out I'm excited about.
Yeah, we got, a lot of cool things have happened since our last episode. And
man, you ain't lying.
But one of the things that you guys have heard of Blackstone Cherry, well, their bass player, John Lawhon, is left the band. He is coming off the road, they said, for personal reasons. And,
I saw that.
I met the guys in Macon, Georgia, just by happenstance at the H&H restaurant, and they were some really cool dudes, man, really down to earth. And I've been following that band since their first major label release, and I know it's sad for the band and sad for the fans, but I'm not sure who they've got to replace him, but I'm sure he'll be a great dude. But we just, all of us at Southern Jukebox want to wish John the best of luck and wish Blackstone Cherry the best of luck as they move forward.
Absolutely.
Great band. Great band.
Fact, a lot of people may not know about them. The drummer is the son of the
drummer from
the Kentucky
That's
Headhunters.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly
I could not remember which
I did not know.
instrument they played. Yeah. Looks exactly like him, but is an incredible drummer.
Yeah, man.
Incredible
Kentucky
drummer.
Headhunters is a great band too. But Blackstone Cherry just announced like today or yesterday that they're re-releasing their current CD or album, I should say. It's an expanded version that's going to be digital only. Couldn't imagine that album being any better because it's phenomenal.
It is.
That's a great, the best two albums of last year were that album and AC/DC's new album, which that's not Southern, so we're getting off track. But anyways.
All right, so it's a digital only.
Yep.
Expanded version.
Yep.
Now, are you not happy with this? Because I know, John, you are a big hard copy guy.
I am a hard copy guy.
CDs everywhere.
I would love it if they put it out on a hard copy, but
because the minute something comes out, you buy them on CD.
I do,
don't you?
But it's not the first time they've released stuff that's not on a hard copy. They got several bonus tracks or whatever that were digital only on iTunes, and I've already downloaded all of them. So it is what it is. Either way, I'm going to have it. So, but that's okay.
Make it happen, baby.
That's it. So Ed's got some interesting discussion that he's prepared for today about the late great Charlie Daniels, who we absolutely miss, and just
you ain't lying.
He is totally revered by every person in this room.
And Charlie's one of those guys. You had the good fortune of meeting him
once. Yes,
I did not, but Charlie's one of those guys where there's something about him where you just feel like after he passed away that you lost a friend too.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I cried my eyes out.
Isn't there something there where with Charlie? And for me, it was like that way with Stevie Ray Vaughan,
right?
Before he passed too, it was almost like, man, I just feel like I know him, but I never met him. I just feel like he's my pal.
Well, that's the great thing about music, though. When somebody connects with you through their music, it is like you know them, especially if they're a type of artist that writes like true stories or stories based on real life. Very believable stuff.
Ronnie Van Zant is another example.
Exactly. And a lot of your Southern artists are like that. They just write from the heart and what they've lived and felt and what they've experienced. And Charlie's a great example of that. And
you know who else I found to be like that, truthfully, and I'm hoping he gets recognized as a real good lyricist, is Wes Bayless. I said his name right, didn't I?
Yes. Tremendous writer.
Is his first name Jack?
No, it's not.
Okay, just checking.
Wes is correct.
Wes is correct. All right. Well, no, seriously, yes. We do have the announcement that was made, I don't know, 2 months ago?
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago. So let me I'm gonna do my journalist imitation. We have here the announcement. 2021 Volunteer Jam, a musical salute to Charlie Daniels. This year's Volunteer Jam will go on as scheduled and serve as a tribute concert to the late Charlie Daniels. The 21-21 Volunteer Jam of Music to Charlie Daniels will take place Wednesday, August 18th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at Nashville's Bridgestone Arena. Hazel Daniels, Daniels' wife for 55 years. They were married 55 years when he passed.
Yeah.
Believes her husband would be thrilled. I am forever grateful for all the love and support Charlie Jr. and I have received since Charlie's passing, says Hazel. Charlie would be excited and extremely proud that his Volunteer Jam would continue. I want to express my sincere thanks to the artists paying tribute to Charlie. 6 additional talents will be joining the jam this August. Randy Travis, Chris Young, Michael W. Smith, Lori Morgan, remember her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I had a crush on her when I was
Me
young.
too.
Exile and rising Nashville star Anthony Castagna have been added to the previously announced lineup. Ready for this? The salute to the late Charlie Daniels will also include performances by the Marshall Tucker Band, Alabama, Ricky Skaggs, Trace Atkins, Larry, Steve, and Rudy, the Gatlin Brothers, CeCe Winans, Gretchen Wilson, Cowboy Troy, I'm getting dyslexic here, sorry, Delbert McClinton, Keb Mo, the Outlaws, 38 Special, Junior Brown, the Allman Brothers Band, Cedric Burnside, Jenny Tolman, the Atlanta Rhythm Section, Travis Denning, Mickey Gilley, Johnny Lee, Red Atkins, Scooter Brown Band, the Steel Drivers. That was Chris Stapleton's original band.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, my eyes are tearing up here. Pure Prairie League and comedian Dusty Stay, Daniels' longtime band. Believe it or not, it was called the Charlie Daniels Band.
Yeah.
Yep. Will perform to honor its legendary frontman. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff here along with the announcements. But boy, that is going to be cool. And it always is cool seeing.
I would like to see it go on annually every year.
Yeah. Well, did he never really made it an annual thing?
He did early on.
He tried to.
Like through the 80s, it was every year.
More annual.
Yeah.
But actually, I have a list. You want me to go through the list of the history of the Charlie Daniels Jam? It started on October 4th, 1974 at the War Memorial Auditorium in Nashville. And it switched venues here and there, you know. But check this out over the years. Listen to the guests over the years. This is real eclectic, man. Ted Nugent, the Allman Brothers, the Marshall Tucker Band, Billy Joel. I didn't know Billy Joel showed up at a Volunteer Jam. Garth Brooks, Billy Ray Cyrus, Steve Ray Vaughan, Tammy Wynette, Roy Acuff, Carl Perkins. I don't know Carl Perkins was in one too. Alabama, Don Henley, Barefoot Jerry. I mean, you can go down the list, but it's just unbelievable how Charlie had such good friends. Like the old Skynyrd song, "When You Got Good Friends Like These."
Oh yeah.
It's like, can you imagine what the backstage discussions were like at the Volunteer Jams back in the day? It was probably went like, Charlie, if you do this next year, call me. I will make time on the schedule.
Sure.
That's probably what happened as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think all of the proceeds from those shows went to a good cause. I don't know what. You may know that.
I don't know what it was always a charity type
like
of
a Children's
thing.
Miracle Network or something.
And one that was telecast was it was the one in 87. It was the one that Stevie Ray Vaughan showed up at with the reunited, tribute tour Skynyrd.
Yep.
And that was for, I believe it was Jerry's Kids.
Jerry's Kids, I believe you're right.
I'm pretty sure. And that was like simulcast. I don't know if the whole thing was or not, but
there's video of it on YouTube.
There's plenty of
and
video.
You can see you see Stevie Ray and Skynyrd jamming.
Stevie Ray and Skynyrd, and you know who else was in there?
Breeze.
You know who else was in there? Who actually wasn't written down in this list that I have here from. It was like on Wikipedia, and it's a pretty comprehensive list. But someone who's missing from the list from that jam was a guy that Epic Records had put on their label. and very underrated guitar player and singer. Even though his vocal style was a little Dylan-esque, a little bit, he was. I don't know. I think because Stevie Ray Vaughan was on Epic, I think this guy was maybe I'm speculating. Maybe he was Epic's attempt at having a more MTV friendly type of a Stevie Ray sounding guy. I mean, he was young. He had like the mullet going on. He pranced around a lot more on stage, but a phenomenal guitar player. He's from Louisiana. His name was Mason Ruffner. You never heard of him?
I've never heard of him.
He had a minor hit called Gypsy Blood, and I loved that song when it came out. Like I said, it was on MTV at the time. I don't know if you remember, MTV used to play music videos.
Oh, yeah.
Some time ago. And Mason Ruffner was a phenomenal player. Very, held on to his Stratocaster. Like I said, Stevie Ray-esque in his playing style. And this is before Stevie Ray Vaughan died, of course. But he's in that jam, too. And underrated player, very underrated player. I think he just plays around, Texas and Louisiana mostly now. But check him out. Check him out on the Volunteer Jam on YouTube. It was Volunteer Jam number 13, 1987.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing all the different types of people from different genres of music that Charlie brought together for those events. I know.
Dobie Gray.
I mean, James Brown was on there.
He had yeah. And it was great? If you ever watch the footage of James Brown, it's when he still had his guitar player, Jimmy Nolan. Jimmy Nolan was the guy that pioneered that funk style guitar. Like, no one did that before him. Jimmy Nolan was just like, he was a jazz guy, and he's like, man, I gotta figure something to fit my style into this rhythm that James Brown wants. Mm-hmm. I'm paraphrasing, basically. This is not what Jimmy Nolan said, but you could basically see, because he was a jazz guy, and he made, that's how you get that, that whole, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag style.
Yeah.
Those ninth chords for those that are musicians listening.
Yes.
Jimmy Nolan was there at the Volunteer Jam playing guitar behind, as part of, James Brown's backup band.
Completely unrelated note. Yeah. I was at the not the House of Blues, Hard Rock Cafe in Myrtle Beach not too long ago. I sent John a picture. I was sitting, our booth was underneath an acoustic of Toy Caldwell's. Beside that was his guitar. The gentleman's name, say it
Jimmy
again.
Jimmy Nolan. Really?
One of his original Vox guitars. And I was pointing at it, stating off all these facts, so excited. The waiter, the people working there had no idea who he even was.
Isn't that crazy? That's a shame.
Yeah, they were side by side, but it was an old Vox guitar.
Right.
One of his originals, and I was so excited to see that. Wow. And so, unrelated fact, but it was pretty cool to see.
But yeah, Volunteer Jam, James Brown, and Dobie Gray. Dobie Gray, again, you can find it on video, is singing The Night They Drove Old Dixie.
That's right.
Really?
Oh, what a virgin. Oh, yeah. Oh, look. Goosebumps.
So I got one question.
Yeah.
Are we going to the Volunteer Jam?
I am all in.
I wish I could.
The Bridgestone Arena is literally right across the street from the Country Music Hall of Fame, which that may not excite a lot of people, but I've been to it, and it's unbelievable to see, because there's a lot more in there than just what you would think would be there for country music stuff. Huge outlaw country section with Waylon, all those guys, a huge section just dedicated to them. A lot of Elvis stuff in there. Elvis's limo with the gold phone in the back, you can see. So it'd be a great trip.
So, you talk about outlaw country. You think the Stillwoods would be outlaw country, or are they Southern rock?
I think they are a great mix between the two.
They blend. They're
How'd you like that segue? You like that segue?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Stillwoods.
So John and I, and Ed too, it's been one of our favorite bands for a while now.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So the Stillwoods was started by a gentleman who unfortunately passed away not too long ago. Roddy Copeland was a guitar player. He played with Jamie Johnson for 20 plus years and stopped. He quit Jamie's band to start the Stillwoods with the singer Wes Bayless. 3 CDs out now, including the new one.
Yeah.
So John and I, unfortunately, Roddy passed away during the recording of the last CD, and he was an acquaintance, not a friend of mine, but I had met him through some friends of friends in Nashville.
Nice.
So when Jamie would come through, he would score me tickets and some things like that, but we weren't friendly enough to hang out and things like that, so I don't want it to sound like, we were good buddies. But yeah, he passed away during the recording of the current album, which is called All of Your Stones. So he played on half of it, but he wrote a lot of the songs on it. And so John and I went to see these guys 3 weeks ago, or was it 4 weeks ago now?
It's probably about 4 weeks ago.
No, they were in Greensboro at a very small place called the Blind Tiger. Yeah. Very small place.
Great venue, though.
Great venue.
That was my first time there. Loved it.
And they were incredible musicians. And it's really the first time I listened to a lot of the songs off the first CD. The latest CD. But they were just incredible. And Wes's voice live is just like it is on the CD. Great musicians, great songwriting, and the lyrics on this album. I know we all think he's a great lyricist. Tremendous lyrics on this song, and there's one song in here called "Old Pal" that if you listen to it now, knowing that Roddy passed away, I was reading an interview with Wes, and now it's like it's almost turned into a tribute to him since he passed away, but it wasn't written that way. But not a bad song on it. Tremendous album. They're great live. They're coming to the Lincoln Theater in Raleigh in September. I think it's the 13th, but I don't want to give the wrong date. But John, what did you think of them live?
I thought it was incredible.
Yeah,
it was absolutely incredible. I mean, didn't they open up with the first song? That's the first song on the new album.
First song on the new album is called "Out of the Blue," and that's the last song Roddy wrote and recorded on the album, and they opened up with that. It's called "Out of the Blue." Real bluesy, just the whole show they played the stuff you would think you would hear from the other albums as well.
Yeah, old news. That's the one I downloaded.
But wow. Yeah, it was just tremendous. So
I was really impressed that they covered "I Need You" by Skynyrd.
Yes, they did.
And they played it that night, and they stay true to Skinner's version, but as it gets close to the end, they start doing their own thing on there, man. And I really like it when an artist can do that, stay true to the original, but put their own spin on it. And they did a really good job with that song. And Ed's new to the Steelwoods, newer than we are, obviously. But your favorite song, tell them about your favorite song that they do.
Oh, The Rock That Says My Name.
Yeah. You talk about that song a lot.
The thing that turned me on to them was you, Todd, sending me a text of them doing it live on that Dickey TV.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was an unplugged version. I said, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. And just finding the
chill bumps.
Yeah. Well, just listening to the lyrics alone. And I love when people write lyrics from a different person's point of view. That was this guy Don Francisco used to do that. He used to take he was like in that Jesus music movement back in the 70s. He used to write like gospel stuff from the point of view from Peter.
Right.
Like what did wasn't like walking around with Jesus, if you were Peter and all that. And I feel like that's what Wes did in The Rock That Says My Name. He wrote this song, from what I see, is the point of view from the gravedigger, from the person that works in the cemetery.
Yes, absolutely.
And it kind of means a lot to me because I'm giving a little personal thing here. My biological grandfather, who my father never really knew, my grandmother named my dad after him, and so I got this guy's name, and I barely know nothing about the guy. And isn't it weird how not long before this song was sent to me, The Rock That Says My Name, meaning like a headstone, I found stuff out about my biological grandfather, which I never found out. Not only that, his headstone on Find a Grave.
Wow.
Through Ancestry. So here it is, and there it is, because like I said, I'm the third and there's my name on this headstone. You know, he died in 1938, the guy, but that's okay. So it's kind of like, man, you know, I almost picture when I hear the song, I almost picture like the gravedigger thinking, man, this guy died young. He was in his 40s, and man, I can't believe I'm digging a grave for, and name it, you know, later on, you know, these people, they welcome in the old, you know, the new ones, introduce them to the old, as the lyric says. But if you think about it, gravediggers digging graves for old people and young people. There's so many people that die tragically young before their time, you know.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, that's a great point of the song. I never really thought about it, to be honest, but he does write a lot of his lyrics like that.
Oh, yeah.
On this new album, All of Your Stones, a lot of the lyrics are in that same fashion, coming from a third person type point of view.
Man. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they were, and the new guitar player they had with them was phenomenal.
What's his name?
I don't know. He's not even listed on the CD notes. He's new, but
I'll just call him Jack.
Yeah, just call him Jack. But he was great. He was phenomenal. But
John's laughing there in the corner.
But yeah, anytime anyone gets a chance to go see them, the tour they're doing now, they're doing mostly small venues. Before everything happened, with Roddy passing away, they were doing very large venues, opening for some pretty big names.
Yeah.
You know, but just my own personal opinion, they're doing the first part of this tour for the new album at these very small places just to deal with everything and to mesh as a band with the new guitar player and everything. And then I'm sure they'll hit the road in a much bigger atmosphere
as they get comfortable.
As they get more comfortable. Because the first two albums were critically acclaimed very well, but also within the community, especially, I know Blackberry Smoke, they're huge fans of them. They've toured with them before. So I'm sure they'll start to go back out with at much larger venues. So I would recommend, if they come around now, to anywhere that you're close by to, at one of these small venues, to go see them. I mean, John and I were very comfortable, and we were 30 feet from the stage.
Yeah, man.
If that, and it was great.
Yeah,
the Blind Tiger in Greensboro.
Yeah, man.
Sound wise, how was that?
Oh, it was really good. It was really good.
It was good. They had their
I played
amps
at the
cranked
Grey
up.
Eagle in Asheville, and they were up at the Grey Eagle not long after the Greensboro gig.
That's kind of where they're based, because Wes and Roddy were both from Asheville or Black Bear Mountain, which is right outside of Asheville. So that was kind of their home base, so to speak. But it's probably about the same size as that, honestly.
Cool.
Maybe a little smaller.
I'd love to see them do a show with Blackberry Smoke, and I know that we touched base on Blackberry Smoke. Had a new album coming out, and on our last episode, well, now it's out.
Oh my God, is it out? It came out.
Do you hear Georgia on that thing, man?
I hear.
You think?
Oh my gosh. The first song on this album is still my favorite. It's called Live It Down. And when you listen to it, it's a plexi amp riff at the beginning that's very easy, but it sounds so great. And the album just gets better from there. It's got a guest appearance on one song by Warren Haynes. Does some killer slide work on it. They do a song with Jamie Johnson on it that's more country. Jamie is one of those people. John knows how big of a fan I am. He could sing the I Chart at the DMV, as you say, and you know, I listen to it. Front to back, tremendous album. I hear a lot of older country influence in this, but I also hear a lot of Allman Brothers, and it's a lot more slide work with Benji Shanks now in the band on this album for the first time.
Phenomenal.
It's a lot more slide work on every song on this.
There's a co-write with Ricky Medlock on there too. If I'm not mistaken.
It sure is.
Really?
He co-wrote one song.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
That's what's good about having the hard copy, right, John? I mean, you get to see a lot of those little factoids. You get to, you know, because when you download the album, you just end up listening to it, right?
Yeah.
But when you get the CD, you can find out who the personnel is on every one separately sometimes, depending on how they decide to, lay out the album sleeve.
Yeah, there's something to be said for getting a hard copy of music, but
It's some scorchers on this song, and it's some slower stuff as they usually do. Mm-hmm. But I mean, beginning to end, not a bad song on it, as is the case with all their albums, in my opinion.
Exactly.
They don't. They don't write a bad song.
They don't know how to write a bad song. No.
But production, very well produced. I'm not up to date on the producer and all that stuff, but highly recommend. This is one of my favorite albums by them, and I'm such a homer for them, as you guys know. But that's one of the best albums they've put out. And they are coming, if you're in the Raleigh area, they're coming to Red Hat Amphitheater in August, which is right in downtown Raleigh. Allman Brothers Band will be opening for them.
Yeah.
And this is the tour that was postponed from last year when they had just released the Capricorn recording CD.
Yeah.
So I don't know if J-Mo's band is going to be with them this time around or not. They were supposed to be last year, but definitely need to see them live if you want to even appreciate them even more musicianship wise.
Oh yeah, and as the band grows, they're obviously careful in their choices of who gets to step in.
Very much. Tremendous musicians, and that album, I just can't recommend it enough.
Well, you talk about the producer. The producer was actually Dave Cobb. And this guy's really making a name for himself.
He is.
Because he also produced the new Travis Tritt album, Set in Stone, which to me is Travis's best album in years. I mean, up to this point, my favorite Travis Tritt album was the one with my Honky Tonk History.
Mm-hmm.
Great album there.
Great song.
And this album that Travis has got out, which is called Set in Stone, came out around the same time as the new Blackberry Smoke. It's a phenomenal album. And there was a Walmart exclusive version where all the songs but one were done on a second CD acoustically. And I got my hands on one of those, and it was definitely worth picking up.
I mean, really, what's not to like about Travis Tritt?
Yeah.
He's such an underrated songwriter.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion. Lyricist and vocalist. I mean, his vocals are amazing. Always have been. Always have been. I think, unfortunately, he's still grouped into that 90s country era, and people may not follow him unless they're diehard fans, but, I mean, he's stayed.
Slammed on the music scene,
It is, but he's put out great music since then, but you're right, that's when he first
He definitely connected. He definitely brought the Southern rock to the country. That has remained throughout all these years. That flavor has stayed with country music.
Right. He definitely fused that in there. That's for sure.
First album of his I bought, he did a version of Homesick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we'll give you chill bumps. Just unreal version.
Yeah, he did back up against the wall too, another Atlanta Rhythm Section song,
Mm-hmm.
and both of those songs, man, he just stayed very true to the originals, but yet vocally made it his own. And Travis is just a great artist. He's out on tour now. I think we're going down to Savannah, Georgia to see him in November. I can't remember, but I think we're planning to go see him. But he's got a new album out called Set in Stone, so y'all check that out. Speaking of albums, we'll go back in time a little bit. I think one of us might have been Todd brought up Toy Caldwell, and we were talking about his solo album that he did in 1992.
I was going through my random play on my iPod, iPhone, whatever I was using, and John introduced me to this album. I'm being honest, I didn't even know it had existed until a couple years ago. And it played the title track from it, I Hear the South Calling Me. And once I heard it, it's been on constant play all week. Sometimes you hear an album, you haven't heard it in a while, and it's just on repeat all the time. What a tremendous album. John, you said it very well when we were talking. before we started recording. It's the best Marshall Tucker Band album not made by Marshall Tucker.
Yeah, what I said was it was the best sounding, sonically sounding Marshall Tucker Band album that the Marshall Tucker Band never recorded up to that point, because Marshall Tucker Band, obviously without Toy Caldwell's, put out a couple of really good albums in recent years.
Oh, yeah.
But just the production on that thing, and when you listen to it, at least for me, it sounds like it could have been recorded a year ago. You know, they just,
wow. Yeah, I haven't heard it in a long time.
Good production on that album.
And his guitar playing, always phenomenal with Marshall Tucker, but it's the feature on this album and stands out so much in the forefront.
In the mix.
I believe it, yeah.
Absolutely.
With his vocal. It's equal with his vocal.
And his tone.
He redid
is unbelievable.
This old Cowboy on there, he said, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay. I got to check out again. Definitely. That's a long time ago.
It's different.
That's 30 years ago.
Yeah. Great album, though. Greg Allman makes an appearance on it. A song called Old Promises.
Midnight Promises.
Yeah.
That's a classic. That is a modern classic. I mean, it's...
Somebody could redo that today and release it. And
the Marshall Tucker Band with Chris Hicks actually recorded it on their last album.
Did they?
And as a tribute to Toy. And there was another song off that same album. Like, they've gone back and taken some songs off of this Toy Caldwell album and done them on their albums. And they just kind of fit... Why Am I Crying is another one, but Doug Gray sang that one and did pretty good with that. Toy's legacy lives on with that album, man, because it's just... I can't say enough good things about that album. I mean,
you can't say anything bad about his guitar playing.
Fly, Eagle, Fly, which was on Marshall Tucker's second album.
That was... Oh, yeah, it was on A New Life, right.
Yeah. And he recut that, and to me, it's a better version than the original Marshall Tucker version.
Well, A New Life, I don't mean to go back on it.
That's fine.
A New Life, personally, is my favorite Marshall Tucker Band album from the original band. But... It sounded like it was done in more of a hurry. The songs themselves I think are great, but the sound quality, I felt like it went down just a little notch from the first album. Not by much, but I just felt like they might have gotten that done. I have no evidence of this. This is just my sort of hunch. But man, Blue Ridge Mountain Sky. I mean,
that's one of my favorite songs by them.
He did that for me. He sang. I saw Toy in a club called the Stevens Talk House on the very end of Long Island, little tiny place. It was a house originally, and he was playing there. And just to give you an idea of his equipment, he was doing the 335 thing, or maybe the S345. I think he had the Veritone switch on that. You wouldn't believe what he was playing through. Fender Super Reverb, cranked to the gills. Ready? Laying on its back, facing the ceiling. Yeah. He laid it on its back in this gig.
Really?
Yeah. That I've never seen anybody ever do that, ever. He just laying down behind him, not a 45-degree angle on the amp stands like a lot of people.
I'm just curious now, are they if that was a closed back amp or an open back amp?
Oh no, the Fender Super Reverb was an open back amp.
Okay.
I mean, pretty much all the old Fenders.
Yeah.
But that kind of struck me as odd, but boy, the sound was unbelievable. And he, it was funny because up there in the north, right?
I love it.
Up there in the north, you don't have as many Marshall Tucker fans, and people are just sitting there waiting to hear "Can't You See" or "Heard in a Love Song."
Mm-hmm.
And he got done playing one of the newer songs because the new album had been out already. It was only, I'm thinking 2 or 3 months before he passed was when I seen him, and people clapped and there was silence, and out loud, almost quoting Ronnie Van Zant, he goes, "Well, what do you want to hear?" And no one said nothing, and I was sitting right in front of him, about 8 feet away, and I just got up out of my chair and I screamed at the top of my lungs. I said, "Blue Ridge Mountain Sky!" And he looked over at me and he smiled so big. It was such a big smile. And he turned back at the band. He goes, and I heard him go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and I screamed. I just lost my mind because that's my favorite song off of that album too. So
great song.
Yeah.
But there's some really good songs. I think I have a hard time deciding what my favorite song on this solo album is, but the song Mexico is a straight up Southern rock song. I mean, that riff, dun 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 dun. I mean, it just kicks butt.
It's such a great album.
Shadow Rider is another really, really good song. And obviously this Old Cowboy and Fly Eagle Fly, those remakes are awesome. But I think the classic off of this album has got to be Midnight Promises. It really does. And Greg Allman singing that last verse is just icing on the cake, And Toy did a couple music videos for that song. He did one, and for I Hear the South Calling Me. And Charlie Daniels plays the fiddle on that song,
right?
Which is it's a weird video because it's got
that was the one with the video. I was about to say
two
that.
Charlie Daniels. Charlie's wearing two different shirts and he's playing against each other. It's kind of odd, but it's a funny video, but the whole album, man, and it's really sad because you listen to the album and when it's over, it's like, wow, where could he have gone after that?
Yeah.
I'd like to think that maybe one day he would have got back with the Marshall Tucker Band. I don't know, but I applaud those guys for keeping Toy's music alive. Because he wrote
for sure
most of the songs in that band. And, it's like we say, everybody's got critics, all the bands that keep going, and there's one original member, even some cases where there's none. But it's like Ed says, people got to eat, man. If this is what they're good at, this is what they got to do.
That's it. If you're upset that, hey, this isn't the real band anymore, well, all right, that's fine. Don't go.
Stay home and listen to the original
Stay home
record.
and listen to the original record. That's fine. But the other side of the coin is if you want to hear that music live, and even if there is just one original member, I mean, that's what somebody told me about Marshall Tucker. It's like, well, it's Doug Gray overseeing a tribute band. So.
They're paying tribute to the legacy that he's a part of.
And it's a great thing that they're doing that. And you know what? Doug Gray's there.
Exactly.
Doug Gray's there. And you know what? Last I checked, he was the voice of the Marshall Tucker Band.
Right.
So. And they put out a very high quality product.
I was going to say, they don't release songs. They don't take it lightly, releasing new material either.
So seeing a band live, for me, I'm only speaking for myself, it's obviously about seeing some of the members and your favorite musicians and all that, but secondly, it's about experiencing the music, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
And bands like this that are going out, obviously Skynyrd comes to mind. How could you have a better band even now than what they have? You can still experience the song and feel the song and what it meant to you 20 years ago. You can still get that feeling if you go in there with the right frame of mind, not a negative vibe like, well, this isn't the real thing. Well, in a way it is. Yes, it is. Just sit back and enjoy it for what it is.
You can tell when you see some of these bands, that have kept it going all these years, when the musicians are really working very hard to stay true to the original format.
Exactly.
Yep.
And if you come across one, and I can't think of any one right off the top of my head, but if you come across one that they're not doing it the way it's supposed to be done, maybe the reason I can't think of one because there isn't one. If that was the case, it wouldn't work and nobody would go see them live. There's a reason people still go see Skynyrd. There's a reason people still go see Marshall Tucker. They still go see Atlanta Rhythm Section.
And they still went to see the Allman Brothers when they were around before, when they were touring.
And if Warren and Derek and those guys and J-Mo want to go back out as the Brothers, it will be a successful tour.
Proud moment for me. I have to brag. My stepson Noah, he's 14. Bought him his first guitar last week. Guess who his favorite guitar player is?
Dwayne Allman.
Derek Trucks. Derek Trucks. Because I showed him the video from the Layla jam when he was 13, doing all the slide work.
Yeah.
And that's his favorite. Because he's been into all this music that the younger kids have been into, but he's around me so much. He likes Southern rock. He digs it. That's his new favorite guitar player.
Todd. That's what you have to do, man.
He got a cheap Yamaha acoustic, and he's practicing every day. Not slide yet, obviously. Yeah. I mean, that would be silly.
All you got to do is expose it.
You don't have... 19-year-old daughter loves Skynyrd.
Yeah.
She loves a Skynyrd band.
All you got to do is play the music around him. You don't have to force them to listen to it. Just turn it on and turn it up, man.
And he loves Skynyrd. He just he sees what it means to me, and like when a song comes on at a certain time, what it does to me just driving down the road. And he's starting to get into that, which I think is very cool.
Well, let him know that the Brothers Blu-ray is coming out when they did it the night before everything shut down because of coronavirus. Was it Madison Square Garden?
Yes, it was.
That's coming out next month. I don't know the date, but it's coming out.
Wasn't that webcast live?
Yeah, it was webcast, right. But the Blu-ray CD collection is coming out pretty soon. It's on Amazon for pre-order right now. So I'm having a weird noise going on here with my microphone.
And I'm also very proud because Dickey Betts is my favorite guitar player ever. I also think you guys may laugh at this. I don't think John will. I also think he's one of the most underrated guitar players in general.
I was going to say because
I've
seen him ripping out some good slide lines.
Yeah, I think he's underrated for many reasons, which is the topic for another show. But my stepson's 14. When we listen to the Allman Brothers, he can pick out the Dickey parts.
Yeah,
just by hearing it
at 14.
At 14,
that's what I'm talking
because
about.
I'm such a big fan, and he's heard it so much. And he hears me jamming along with it at home sometimes and all. So, yeah.
Now, in the original recordings, though, it's almost like he gets to cheat a little bit because back then the separate parts were panned further apart.
True.
So it's funny you bring up
cheating.
You bring up Dickey Betts. A couple days ago, I read an interview with Dickey. Did you guys know that they sped up Ramblin' Man on Brothers and Sisters a half step?
I did not.
All right,
so if you try to play along with Ramblin' Man with your guitar in standard tuning in G, it's a half step higher.
It's a half right. It's an A flat basically.
They sped
the tape up so that it would be a little higher note higher.
Yeah.
And I did not know that.
That's a Tom Dowd trick, like in Layla.
Yeah.
If you listen to the Layla album, that's like a D minor. Well, the problem is that you hear it and it's like it doesn't sound right, and you try to go to D sharp, and it's low. They altered the tape speed so that it's in between the notes, and I think they did that just to annoy other guitar players. Yeah, because I know I got annoyed trying to figure out those songs as a teen.
Dickey said he didn't really approve of it. He didn't want them. He didn't understand why they did it. And I found a video on YouTube yesterday. Just find it. Ramblin' Man in standard tuning or in the key of G. And you can hear a little bit of a difference. It sounds more like Dickey's natural voice. When you compare it to Dickey's voice, a little bit higher pitched.
Now, was that the footage? Was that the footage from Hofstra University right before Barry died? Because they filmed a concert.
Oh, this isn't. It's just audio.
Oh, it's audio. Okay, yeah.
It's just audio of the original recording, and somebody's taken a computer and put it in the correct key, so you can hear it how it was actually recorded. No. Yeah. Well, when they play it live, it was always in G.
Yeah. It was in G, right. Yeah, because on the Hofstra University film, which, by the way, was Barry's last performance with the band before he passed, it was in G. So
let me try to circle things back around.
Sure.
John. I can't do as well as you did earlier. John just discovered this week, and not many people know this probably, Dickey plays the solo for Charlie Daniels on Long Haired Country Boy.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, the dobro. Yeah. I knew that. Yeah.
Just found that out.
Oh, yeah, I knew that a long time, man. Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me, Ed?
Sorry, John. I just thought it was common knowledge, man.
It's funny, all the little things that you find out. And I mean, we've all been fans of Southern rock for years and years and years, and you just still find new stuff out, and it's really cool, man. It just
absolutely
it doesn't get old. But we're out of time, guys. Thank you, Ed and Todd, so much for being here again, and we'll see you next time. Thanks,
everybody.
Have a great couple of weeks.
There you go.